Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 1 of the Crazyherorise Show. I am here streaming in good old Bonney Lake, and this is Wednesday, June 27th at 6:53. So what this show is going to be is every week on Wednesdays, we are going to stream right here live. And I'm going to talk about what I want to talk about, which is going to be video games, comic books, horror movies, whatever pops in my head, whatever I've seen online that I want to talk about. Now, first thing I would really love to talk about is they are rebooting shit that Michael Bay fucked up. Now, one thing they have already discussed that after the Bumblebee movie, Transformers will be rebooted, and it will be a completely something new, something different, which is the best possible thing they could do, as Michael Bay ruined Transformers, coming from somebody that grew up in the era where Transformers began in the 1980s, and my favorite Transformers series is Beast Wars. I would actually love it if Beast Wars was its own show, was his own movie. That would be really cool. They are also rebooting the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Now, one of the worst things ever that they did is Michael Bay rebooted the Ninja Turtles, and he had no unearthly idea what he was doing. He fucked it up, he turned it into crap, it was bullshit. And then Out of the Shadows came out, and we were like, oh yeah, this might be good, because you have Krang in there. You have Bebop. You have Rocksteady. You have Casey Jones. And what did they do? They shit the bed, ruined it. One, they got the worst possible person for Krang. I don't know why they just couldn't get the voice of Krang from the original Ninja Turtles TV show. So, I don't know why they couldn't do that. I really, really hated it. It was so bad I couldn't even finish the movie. So, we go from that, and they're actually rebooting it. They're going to try and do something different. So, hopefully, it will be really good on that end. Hopefully, Michael Bay will have as little to do with Transformers and Ninja Turtles. If it was me, I would try and do a faithful adaptation of how a merger between the Ninja Turtles of the Eastman run and the Fred Wolf Ninja Turtles. I would try and stay away from anything new school, and you could bring in your Yasabi Jimbos, Technodrome, Dimension X. You could really make it something special instead of, shitting the bed like they normally fucking do with this shit. So, we move on from that, and one thing I've got to talk about in this first episode is one of the things that for the last month has been a fucking insult to fans. Now I'm going to grab something off the shelf real quick, and I'm going to show you. You see this? This right here is good Thundercats. Thundercats all the way. What they've decided to do is they're going to give Thundercats the Teen Titans Go treatment. Now I'm going to go on a rant for a minute, so deal with it. Or bear with me is something better to say. Thundercats does not need the Teen Titans Go treatment. Animators nowadays are so fucking lazy. And the dude that posted the video about how I was a diehard Thundercats fan, and the best thing he said, this is exactly where Thundercats needed to go. No, where Thundercats needed to go was to have a faithful version of the show redone. That would be great. To actually have a good, high quality, great animation, borderline like American anime style show that really pushes the boundaries. Like, how about a sequel to Thundercats? So this is what I thought. right after I saw Thundercats Roar. If it was me writing the show, I would have wrote it from the perspective of, like, 30 years later, Lion-O is, like, hiding out. You have Tigra is the one in charge of everything now. He's running things. And people think Lion-O's a myth and that he never existed. And then you could bring in new characters and you could have somebody to resurrect Mumra. And you have your core basis of a great show. But that's just not what they wanted to go. They wanted to go the cheapest animation route. Something they know that is cost effective that they can do. And they pissed off the fans. Thundercat fans for the longest time have wanted two things. They wanted a show, even just continuing the show that they did in like 2011, because that show had potential and Cartoon Network pulled the rug underneath it and just let it die. And we've wanted a Thundercats movie for the longest time. I've always said a Thundercats movie, if they did it like CG, but like a really cool budget, you could make money off Thundercats. But instead, you got Thundercats Roar, which is a utter fucking joke and pisses me off every time I see it. They don't even have the original intro. The animation style fucking sucks. And they have no fucking idea what they're doing. And I stand by that. The connection's not doing too well, so we'll close that, and that might help out. Alright, so from there, let's talk about some superhero stuff. First off, there's a lot of stuff going on right now when it comes to superhero stuff that involves DC. What is DC doing? Before we get to DC, let's talk about what Marvel's been doing right. Now, whether or not the Marvel-Fox merger happens, doesn't happen, it doesn't matter. Marvel is all about gangbusters. Marvel is doing really well. Like, really well. Excuse me a second, I'm going to turn off my Xbox, see if that helps. Because there might just be, like, interference or whatever. So, let's talk about Marvel this year. You have Black Panther, which, for all cases and points, Black Panther made a shit ton of money. Did I like Black Panther? No, I did not, because all it reminded me of, it was a very pro-black movie, and the only real white character that's in the movie, besides the guy that gets saved, they kill him and have him in a body bag and throw him in Wakanda. Infinity War. Infinity War was amazing. It was great. It is everything I wanted it to be, and it left you scratching your head. The best superhero movies out there that are two-parters are superhero movies that make you think. Make you think, wow, I really wonder what's going on here. And that's what Infinity War did. Whether people are coming back from the dead or not is really good. And then Deadpool 2 knocked it out of the fucking park. Deadpool 2 is better than the first Deadpool, and having Juggernaut in there in his fight with Colossus and all the funny X-Force shit, that was really good. Cable was good in that, and he was also good in Infinity War. Now, coming up soon, we're going to have Ant-Man and the Wasp. I used to not like the Ant-Man character, but after watching Ant-Man when it did come out, I was really engulfed in the movie. So they're like doing everything right, and if they get the Fox thing, you got the X-Men on the horizon, and you also have New Mutants on the horizon. And there's so much potential for the X-Men franchise. And then you look at everything that Marvel's doing when they're working with Sony with Spider-Man Homecoming and the new Spider-Man that's going to be doing. And they've announced that Mysterio's going to be in there. There's back and forth whether or not Jake Gyllenhaal is going to actually be Mysterio, but they said that Vulture will be returning. And then you have this stuff with Venom. And earlier today, they announced that Jared Leto has been cast in the Morbius movie. They're making a Morbius movie. I think Jared Leto would be a great Morbius, and I think that could really shine bright. Like, shine really bright right there. But then there's a black cloud. And the black cloud is DC. Now, what's really weird, and I just don't get it, DC has everything. When you look at the history of comic books, like literally the history of fucking comic books, they have everything. They have the Justice League. They have the Flash. They have Superman. They have Batman. They have Wonder Woman. They have the Green Lantern. They have Metropolis. They have Gotham. They have Joker. They have some of the best villains in all of comics. They have some of the best superheroes in all of comics. And what have they done? Now, I'm going to go and do backwards and talk about... People talk about how great the Nolan trilogy is. Well, the Nolan trilogy had absolutely nothing to do with fucking Batman. There was no crime solving. There was really bad fighting. Christian Bale's Batman, looking back on it, Kevin Conroy said it the best. I don't need to growl to be Batman. Heath Ledger's Joker, as much as I might get some hate for this, the Heath Ledger Joker was not Joker. He was like an anarchist. The best Joker I've ever seen is Mark Hamill's portrayal in the animated series for the last 18 years. But I will say an unpopular thing. I like Jared Leto as a Joker. But let's talk about Man of Steel. I hated Man of Steel. I'm not a big Superman fan, but even that, it was way too dark. He was very much more Batman than Superman. And then you go to Batman vs. Superman. Batman vs. Superman was my first real rant video. Where I went off on a tangent. I'm like, this movie's garbage. Because it was. It was a fucking Ninja Turtle doomsday. Wonder Woman shows up. And, like, Batman's the best thing about that. And it's always been that way. Batman is the guiding light in the DC universe. So, everybody talk crap about Snyder, and then we go to Justice League. This is going somewhere. Trust me. Justice League had the Holy Trinity in there. Now, there's a couple things they did wrong. First off, they kind of mentioned, well, we're going to give you guys some Green Lantern in here. First 5 minutes of the movie, not Hal Jordan, random Green Lantern, the Green Lantern that gets killed, and then the ring goes to find somebody. Probably Hal Jordan. That's all you get, because on the posters it all said Unite the Seven, and there's only 6, so you can all fuck off. Fucking DCU. So, you have that. You have a really, really bad story. You have a really bad story, and you can tell there's conflicting stuff, because you can see the darker side of Snyder, but then you can see Joss Whedon trying to pull Avenger stuff. Marvel, the way Marvel does movies does not work in DC, and DC stuff does not work in the way Marvel makes movies. Now, as Justice League went along, and the way that the movie played out, you really didn't you got like weird psychotic Superman. There's Cyborg, who doesn't really want to be a hero. I've always hated Cyborg. Flash was weird. Batman, I don't know. There was something off about Batman in this movie. I think it's kind of Affleck was dealing with a lot of stuff, and he was still a little hurt about all the hate that Batman vs. Superman got. So Justice League it shit the bed. Like, they don't even... There's mentions of the mother boxes. Somewhere in the movie they could have shown fucking Darkseid, and that might have given people some oomph. Because what it is Steppenwolf is part of the New Gods. And the New Gods are all in line with Darkseid. Which is really cool when they could have showed Apocalypse, and they could have had something better than parademons to fight. There's so many ways that Justice League could have been better. So much ways it could have been better. But then you go from that. Now, even before that, they released Wonder Woman. I didn't like Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman was kind of... It seems to me like Captain America. As was just... And this year alone, The only DC movie releasing in 2018 is Aquaman. And a lot of the stuff hasn't really been stellar. Aquaman, I love Black Manta. I don't like the fact that they show Black Manta unmasked as the black guy because they want to get that thing going. They're all about trying to be like socially cultured, which is why they made sure that Wonder Woman hit the screen so they could have the first woman on there. And there's rumors there's going to be some LGBT characters in Aquaman and going forward. And that's not what you focus on. You focus on a good story. And they've announced like 30 movies. Everything from the Birds of Prey movie with Harley Quinn and Poison Ivy and all, and Catwoman and all that, to the Green Lantern Corps, Teen Titans, The Batman, Man of Steel 2, the Green Lantern Corps, Flashpoint. They've released everything. Suicide Squad 2. They have this huge list of movies they plan on doing. Shazam's in there. It just doesn't make sense. They can't get one thing right, but they're going to announce everything else. There's one thing DC needs that they don't have. And that, my friends, is a Kevin Feige. The reason why Marvel has all these plans and goes Phase 1, Phase 2, Phase 3, they're going to do Phase 4, they just haven't announced what's in there. And I'm pretty sure Phase 4, we might there's a lot of nuggets of coolness that you can get out of that. And I'm going to go over that in a second, what I feel they could do. But what they need is somebody like right here to say, hey, this is what we need to do to be successful. We need to go da-da-da-da-da-da-da. This is our plan. And we're not going to break away from the plan. But they don't do that. What they do is try and focus on, oh, we have all these characters, we should just do this, 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 and this. That's not how it works. That's not how you be successful. But let's go back to Marvel. Before we go to Marvel, I want to talk about something I read that fucking pissed me off. Spawn. Spawn is a really cool Image character. One of the few Image characters that can still breathe life onto the screen. Besides the Bloodshot stuff that's going on online. And that is the Spawn movie. There's been weird stuff going on about it for the last year. It's going to be like a anthology horror thing. It's going to be more of a horror movie than a superhero movie. The main character Spawn is being played by Jamie Foxx. Now when I heard that, all I could think of was Electro. That it's just so bad. That's all I want to say about that because I don't want to get too irritated. But let's talk about all the possibilities within the new thing. My cat is bugging me. Here, look. Sage can be in the stream. There you go, Sage. Say hi. There you go. So if the Fox and Disney merger go through, some of the things you can get is like you could have Thanos and Galactus in the same universe. The almighty storyline from the comics, Avengers vs. X-Men. One that I would really want to see. Fantastic Four and the Guardians of the Galaxy in the same movie. Because then you could really introduce Silver Surfer, Galactus, and a whole bunch of worlds. It can all be cosmic stuff. That would be really fucking cool. I'm still holding out for a true blue Ghost Rider movie. The Nicolas Cage ones did not hold up. Now, we talked about comic book stuff for a while. So let's talk about some of the horror movie stuff. Of course, in one of my videos on this channel, I talked about the Friday the 13th Limbo stuff, so we're not going to talk about that. I also talked about the Halloween that's coming out. But there has been a renaissance in horror films. There's everything from Get Out to a couple years ago, the Evil Dead movie. The Purge movies have been fucking stellar. I like the Purge movies. there's some good ones, but then there's some stuff they're trying to do which doesn't make sense. Like the last Hellraiser was pretty fucking brutal. That was like weird on just a weird, strange level. They're planning on redoing Nightmare on Elm Street again. The rumors I've heard is Kevin Bacon is going to be in that role. I know that they're trying to possibly do another Evil Dead, but they can't use Ash because Bruce Campbell is completely done with the Evil Dead character, the Evil Dead franchise. So horror's really going up. Supernatural seems to be the big thing right now. I would like to see a renaissance of slasher films. I would like to see them go back to the well and find some of those really bad slasher films from the 80s and redo them and make them good. So, I think horror movies are coming on the ups right now. Last thing, gotta get into some video game talk. I do have a lot of video game content on this channel. So gaming wise, let's talk a little bit about, like, over the past couple weeks we've had this game announced. One thing is Dragon Quest XI will be coming to PS4 in September, which is really good because it's Dragon Quest. Great RPG series, finally getting the Steam in the States, and I think that's good because last year Ys really hit a big stride. So maybe now Dragon Quest XI can really bust that door open and we'll get more of those Japanese RPGs that we don't get in the States. Also, Walking Dead Overkill looks really good. I really like Walking Dead Overkill. Some of the stuff has impressed me, some of it not so much, but I really don't like the Telltale Walking Dead games, so that should be good. But zombie-wise, Days Gone. Days Gone looks really, really good and is a straight-up action game with a lot of great emphasis on zombie killing, and it should be really fun. Also, because of E3, I saw Resident Evil 2. Resident Evil 2 is a really good game. I'm not very good at it, but a remake of that is well fucking deserved. The new Division game. Division 2 I really like. Some of the MMOs that have been coming out lately haven't really been that great. Black Desert's coming. We'll see if it's any good. But, like, Terra, I wasn't a big fan of. I also wasn't a fan of Skyforge. I don't like these MMOs that you have where you literally have to pay to get the shit that you want. You can't just grind through it and get what you want. It's fucking horrible. See, Warframe, you could do either or, and that's what makes Warframe pretty good. What I've noticed lately is a whole flux of games coming to Xbox's online. PS4 has some, but Xbox seems like they have more deals with the PC companies because you're seeing things like Path of Exile on there, and you have the Warhammer 40k Martyr game coming out soon, coming out in a couple months, and that should be really good. There has been talk that there's a Marvel Ultimate Alliance remake coming, and that's actually what Square's working on. That Secret Avengers project. If that's the case, then I'm fucking in. I'm in on that because I fucking love Marvel Ultimate Alliance. It seemed like Nintendo still hasn't done anything to bring me into their camp, while Sony did stuff to bring me back to the PS4. So Xbox One, PS4, those are the main consoles I'm playing on. I like retro stuff and I like non-retro stuff. Recently I got a PSP. I actually haven't had a PSP before. So I found some good RPGs on there. I'm gonna test those out. And it's really just... It's fun being a nerd this time in this era. Because there's so much shit going on. Whether it be E3 or anything else. I love this, and This has been the very first episode of Crazy Hero Rise. Episode 1. In 1 week's time, we will have episode 2. And I don't really know what I'm going to talk about yet. But I think next week I might actually go into a little bit more about me and what makes me want to do this. Alright, I will talk to you all next time.